what are some industry conference that you and your employee regularly attend? Is it the Siemens
Yeah.
PCS7 conference?
Yeah, so there used to be before COVID, there was Siemens Automation Fair, and that was the all the automation, switchgear, PLCs, DCS, whatever it was, all of it kind of under one roof. That was an excellent conference, but it has since been dissolved. Well, I mean, they stopped after COVID or during COVID,
Yeah,
and they just never restarted it. And I think it's been rolled into actually conferences coming up in Las Vegas here.
Las Vegas.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, it's
You know,
the
I'm thinking I'm not going to attend a fever event because I know what it is. I'm thinking what other event I'm going, so I wanted to go.
sure, yeah, yeah.
So
So
that's why
it's
I asked that
the
question.
yeah the Siemens Realize Live Americas Convention is what it's
Oh,
called.
okay.
Yeah, and it's in Las Vegas. There's also one in Europe, and there's also one in China. It's not as focused on the industries that we would like it to be on, but it's a broader umbrella, more seamless things. So I'm going to be attending that for the first time this year. We'll see how that goes. I think if it's good enough, I may try to attend the Europe conference or maybe the China conference. I don't know. We'll see.
So go back to your clients. So you have partnership with Siemens and large integrated firms as well as like some direct customer, right? Who is your ideal client? Who should be using your service? Maybe it's
So
time
we're
to
really
pitch a
good.
little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, we're really good with PCS7. We work in every industry, but larger PCS7 installs are kind of our thing. We also have a lot of batch experience, route experience. We've done a lot of, I guess, complex applications. We do
So it's more like when
almost.
they have a PCS7, they should look for you, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, anyone with PCS7, or if you're in the beginning design phases of a new large control system, then
Mm,
we'd be happy to work with you. Or if you're looking for quotes on PCS7 or engineering on that, that's kind of where we do our best work. But we do everything from large projects, brand new installations to, little maintenance, like, hey, I can't figure out why this isn't working. We have remote access to most of our customer sites, so that provides us the ability to service a lot of people or a lot of sites with very, very few engineers, and we can help people on day-to-day basis, or we can help them with huge projects. We just PCS7 is just what we do. So yeah, if you are looking for help in PCS7, then you can contact us. I think it's 1-844-50 Atlas is our phone number.
is it usually the plant manager contact you or somebody like manager?
Yeah, either maintenance managers, plant managers, general contractors. Depending on whose responsibilities are where, who's frustrated with what. We work with people who have in-house teams, and they have maybe an automation lead, and maybe they have automation engineers working for the lead, and then maybe we handle overflow capacity or big projects for them. And then we work for plants that have no one, they have no help on site. It's just the operations guys, maybe a maintenance manager, and they need us to do absolutely everything for them. Whatever people need, we're
You
here
know
to
what you
support them.
say right now is very similar with what I am doing too, but except
Oh,
it's
I'm
the
sure.
pie
Yeah,
system thing. So
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
yeah, oh right,
yeah.
okay. So what is the goal you want to achieve most for your client?
Happiness.
Happiness.
I
I
want my
I
clients to
do
be
too. I
happy.
guess
Yeah,
if I always ask my customer when I finish a project like scale of 1 to 10, how
yeah,
satisfied you?
yeah.
I really liked that.
You've asked me that several times. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's hard because with our systems, it's almost like the project is never done. Like there's always work. there's always something more to do. Like
Interesting.
it's like
Okay.
never done. So I was thinking about that. I think the last time you asked me, I was like, I should do that, but like, when would I even ask them? Because it's never done. It's just never. These systems are generally so large,
Yeah.
and they usually have, continuous improvements throughout the plant or maintenance that always needs to be done. Either a flow meter broke, or they're adding a valve or changing a valve
Oh,
from
that makes
digital
sense.
to an analog valve,
Those are
or they
admin
need to
work
change
to
the
me.
scale on this. Or I'm sorry.
Those are more administrator work. Like when we
Oh,
have like
sure.
when a tag get added in PCS7, maybe
Yeah.
you need to
Right.
create a pi tag, right? That is where the
Sure.
spot is, right?
Yeah.
And then it just
Right.
continuously. But yeah, yeah, that in
Yeah.
that sense.
It's. I feel like every time we finish a huge project, all it does is open up the doors to more projects. It seems like, especially like if we do an update or modernization of a system, we usually have to do that because there's so much pressure on the system to be able to do things it can't do. And then you do the modernization or update or upgrade or whatever. And then now all those projects are available. And then this flood of additional projects comes in, that were just queued up in the back there. So
Hmm.
it's just
Great. I
never
mean,
ending.
that's great. I mean,
Yeah.
you are going to hire more
Yeah.
people, right? This, I don't know.
Right.
Video maybe there's people that wanted to contact you to for work too. So,
Yeah. Come on over.
yeah, come on over. What are some of the challenges your client face when they found you? So, is
Oh,
it like
I
they
think,
found you must have a reason, right? So,
yeah, a lot of our clients find us after some kind of turnover, or on the edge or eve of some kind of turnover, where they're going to lose some kind of critical staff member who has, entrenched knowledge on their system. Some of them are just not happy with their integrators, so they're looking for alternatives. That's actually very common, I think, because a lot of integrators are going to say that they can do PCS7, and they probably can do it, at some
with
capacity.
infinite
But
amount of time, right?
yeah,
If there is no
yeah,
time
it's
constraint, I can do it, right? So,
right, right, and it's
yeah,
just
makes
so.
sense.
Yeah, or it's just capacity. A lot of people just don't have the time and capacity to continue,
Load
yeah, working on it. Maybe they have someone who can do the work, but that person is,
pack.
buried.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
loaded,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
right, right.
Wow, makes sense. Makes sense. So good. So good. Those answers.
Yeah.
Can you share with us a hard lesson you learned from your client?
I mean, there's a lot of hard lessons. I mean, we learn something new about PCS7 every day, and sometimes those lessons come with a lot of pain,
Hmm.
and sometimes that pain has to be shared with the customer, which is always unfortunate.
Hmm.
It's nice when we can find those hard lessons, internally, and then we can resolve them. When the customer is struggling with something and it's difficult to find what that problem is, it's always very painful.
Yeah.
We've had a number of those things. A lot of times there are existing systems, and you come in and you do work, and you may pull a cart out from underneath the house of cards, or
Accidentally, right? Like,
put the final straw on the camel's back, and then you have to go down a rabbit hole to find what the problem was. And sometimes that can be very painful.
yeah.
And those lessons are unfortunately sharing with the customer, sharing the pain with the customer. I
Hmm.
try to keep as infrequently as possible, but learning PCS7 is just a continuous painful process. So
Oh no. Oh no.
there's just so many things that it can do. It's just so powerful and so diverse that, different mixes and matches of this component and that component and doing this different thing, causes this new scenario that maybe the developers never considered. And then you get to report a bug to Siemens,
Yeah, but
But
like it's the experience that come in, right? Like you got all these prior
yeah,
experience, whereas like
right,
the other integrator may not have, right? So
right, right,
then it could become more valuable, and you just don't touch it
right. It
anymore
is.
when you had that, because you had that, you won't have it second time, right? So
Yeah, yeah. And,
yeah,
and when we have new engineers, we can always tell them, like, oh yeah, it's supposed to do this, and it will if you do it like this. or this version does this and this version does it like this, even though they technically haven't changed it, but there's a bug here, a bug there.
Yeah.
And like those things are very painful. But I think that's the most painful lesson I've learned from the biggest lesson I've learned from my customers is probably, that you can't count on the customer to take the helm sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to hold on and make sure that the ship is going in the right direction for as long as you can until they know how to drive.
Yes.
I think when I was first starting out, I thought that everyone would be extremely committed, and I learned that in a lot of facilities, a lot of places, that people just are kind of getting by, and sometimes that can lead to problems. But that's not the end of the world. I mean, we can still make it work. We just need to make sure that the ship is pointed in the right direction before they put it on cruise control,
Yeah. So you're gonna help them, right? So
Yeah.
great. Okay. If you are to hire, what qualification are you looking for?
PCS7 experience. If you have batch experience, then I'll hire you right now.
I have some.
PCS7 experience, batch experience,
Uh-huh.
and if you have route control and batch, then you are extremely valuable. Yeah. And then Profinet, Profibus experience. Those are the two main communication protocols that PCS7 uses. Redundant Profinet is a very complex thing. Any redundant Ethernet application is very complex, and that redundant Profinet it's not out of control, but there are a lot of things you need to know in order to be able to do it right. And I feel like a lot of people don't know.
Is it plan Pacific or it's software Pacific? If they know the software inside and out, like from Siemens, right?
Oh yeah.
They
If you know PCS7, you can go to any plant and that is one of the huge advantages to PCS7 or any DCS over, say, a PLC. Like with PLCs, the way one engineer programs a valve is going to be unique to that person. But with PCS7, you drop a valve block in, and that is how it is, and it meets ISA standards, and it will be uniform. And then any self-respecting, decent PCS7 engineer should be able to walk in and say, I already know how all of that works.
Wow.
Yeah. Obviously, there's glue logic between, valves or whatever, or pumps or however, whatever needs to happen there. And the way that's done can vary, but there are still actually standards to that, and it's becoming more uniform with the existence of new libraries that make it even more consistent as to how it should be done. So anyone can walk in and be like, yes, I understand this. I've talked about it. Yeah.
Okay. And where do you see your company 3 years from now?
Bigger and just as busy, hopefully.
3 years from now, where do you want yourself to be then?
I think in 3 years, there's a little bit of vertical integration I'd like to have. We're building our own panels now. We have a panel shop that does work for us as well. I'd like to bring it all in-house, but we need more staff for that and more real estate, I think. And I really didn't think when I started this company that my biggest limitation on how fast we could grow would be the inability to find engineers with sufficient experience. That is my limiting factor on what I can do in the next 3 years.
So you're going to train more, right?
Yeah. Well, we are training engineers. We also have experienced engineers. We're always trying to hire more engineers. Obviously, we have to keep that under control at some point because we need to make sure that everybody's still in lockstep and following all our standards and maintain some quality control. But I'm pretty much always trying to find more people. That's, I think, becoming more and more my job is just trying to find people, find business. Yeah.
Like-minded
people. And then the work to keep them busy, and then that tug of war of making sure there's enough work and making sure there's enough people. And it's a good battle, I guess. I don't know.
Anything
No, I mean,
today?
Yeah.
cover all the questions.
I guess if anybody wants to get a hold of us, give our phone number out earlier. It's 1-844
I'll put it on the
50 Atlas. Yeah, and then our website too, www.atlascoreofengineers.com.
yeah.
They want to reach out to us. But yeah, I think
Thank you for the interview.
I think you got it all pretty good. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Working with you is always a pleasure. So
yeah.
This has also been fun. Never had an interview before, so
My goal is to interview 100 CEO and maybe have impact on the industry. So
yeah,
if they accept my invitation, I will be able to do it. So
yeah, I think you. I mean, Pi is everywhere, and everyone is so reliant on it, regardless of what they do to the licensing structure.
yeah. No, I think like there is a lot of untapped area that we can work together for your client.
There's so much potential in these Pi systems that I think are installed for regulatory purposes. They install them because the government says they need to be able to record this emissions data or whatever, and then no one uses it, and they just don't realize how much power there is sitting right at their fingertips.
Yeah, and I feel them if I couldn't convince them this is important.
Yeah, we can definitely try together.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for the interview, and we'll wrap up.
Yeah,
thank you, Ahmad.